Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual class of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic and because of that we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean we are going to stop learning. So we are going to do many lessons which are very interesting from your textbook through the virtual class here. So let us do a lesson in English today. So children, today let us start a new lesson in standard 9th English. Okay, and the lesson, as you can see here from the background picture that I have shown you, is something to do with the night. Okay, you can see the night sky in the background, you can see the moon, you can see stars. Okay, so this is something about the night sky. So when we think about the night sky, children, what are the things that come to your mind? The things that come to your mind is darkness. Okay, then we think about the stars which are twinkling away in the night sky. We also tend to think about the moon. Now when the moon is in full shine, that is when it is a full moon day, you will see moonlight all around you and everything starts looking like the color of silver. So today our lesson is about the moon, about the moonlight, and about what all things happen during the night, and the name of the lesson is silver. It is lesson number 3.1, children, from your English textbook. Now in this lesson we will first talk about some warming up activities in the lesson, then we will read the poem once. I will try and explain the meaning of the difficult words to you, and then I have even a beautiful pictorial representation of this particular poem. That is, we will try and see pictures related to each and every line in the poem. So that is going to be very interesting. And towards the end of the lesson, again we will do some exercises from the textbook which are based on rhyme, etc. So come on, are you ready to go on this journey in the night and witness the silver of the moon? So let us start by doing this particular grouping activity which is there in your textbook in the warming up part. So now there you are supposed to divide yourselves up into groups in your class. Okay, so you will make a group either based on metals, so you will select a category for making the group. So you will make a group based on metals, you will make a group based on flowers sometimes, on stars and galaxies, groups based on the names of trees or the names of seasons. Now when you do a group activity, children, when you put yourself into groups, especially when you are doing a language lesson, what happens is you get a lot of practice in listening, in speaking, and when you are working with your group of friends, you do not have any kind of fear. Okay, you use the language boldly and you are less worried about making mistakes. See, when you talk to your teacher in English, sometimes you start worrying whether I'll be making a mistake and whether my teacher will get annoyed with me. But the same thing if you're talking to your friends, you are more in a place which you feel safe. Alright, so that is why grouping activities are done a lot when we learn English. So come on, let us see how you can at least select names for your groups in this particular activity. So suppose you have a class of say 20 children. Okay, you are a class of 20 friends or students. So you will put yourself into 4 groups, and these 4 groups will have 5 members each. So suppose you are selecting names based on metals. So you will say, okay, this group is called the steel group, this group is called as the copper group, the third group is called as the silver group, and the fourth group will be the gold group. Okay, suppose you were to select the names of groups based on the names of flowers, then what would you do? You would say, we have a rose group in the class, we have a lily group in the class, we have a lotus group in the class, and a tulip group in the class. You can select the names of flowers according to the syllabus also. That is, if you're learning about any particular kind of flower, or if you're learning about any particular kind of tree in your textbook, then you can select the name of that particular flower or that particular tree also. And then after you fall into groups, then for example, you are in the rose group. See, this description is given in your textbook also. You can read it also. You will understand better. If you are in a rose group, then you will wear color flowers. You will wear clothes of that particular color. Okay. You will use pictures of roses to decorate yourself. Alright, and you will also describe qualities and try to internalize certain qualities of a flower rose, etc. So this is how you can make a grouping activity more meaningful. Now suppose you have to select the names of stars, or you have to select the names of galaxies for yourself. So let us see what names I will select. So I will call one of the group as Milky Way. I might call another group as Andromeda. Okay, then there is a galaxy or called as a cigar. Alright, and Whirlpool is also a galaxy. So see, you're learning so many new things also. So instead of going in for ordinary categories, like for example flowers are an ordinary category, isn't it? Go in for such things which will improve your vocabulary also. So see, you learned the names of so many new stars and galaxies. So grouping can also help you to develop your vocabulary in the language. Alright, now coming to trees, they've already given us the names of trees here. So you have Neem, you have a Banyan, you have Gulmohar, Ashoka. What about seasons? So seasons, you don't have too much of a choice, children. We have just 5-6 seasons. So you have to make selection out of that only. So you have the summer season, you have the winter season, the rainy season, and for one more name we can select the spring season. So this is how you can select names based on categories if you are asked to do a grouping activity. And also along with selection of names, we also discussed certain strategies which you can use for this grouping activity in order to make it more meaningful. Alright, so come on, let us move on now and let us go to the next exercise that we have in the textbook for you. So they are asking you to read the lines of the poem, and you're supposed to guess and fill in suitable words in order to make the lines rhyme. Now we have another exercise here in this particular poem about a rhyme, but then we will be discussing the rhyme scheme. Here we are just supposed to add words which will make this poem a rhyming poem. So now what is the meaning of rhyme, children? When two lines are rhyming, it means the sound of their last words match. Okay, the last sounds of the last words in the line, they match. So let us try and find out words which are rhyming, and let us try to fill in these particular blanks. So pause the video now and try to find out words on your own. Go to the dictionary and see which words will fit the situation given in the poem, and also they should rhyme. Okay, and then you can come back and check what the words which I have given you. So the name of the poem is Golden Glow. Soon after dawn rises the sun. It wakens and enlivens every one. So see, soon after the dawn rises the sun. So you have the N sound, the sound of the letter N. It wakens and enlivens every one. So again you have the sound of the N. But if you look at one thing carefully here, children, sun is S-U-N, sun, and one is O-N-E, one. They do not have the same letter as the last letter. But then rhyme has got to do with sound and not with the letters of the alphabet. Okay, so if the sound is the same, that means they are rhyming. Moving on, let's go to the third line here in this poem. It scares away the long dark night. The shining stars go out of sight. From tree to tree, birds flit and dance, searching for food with a sharp glance. So we have tried to take in two words, night and sight, which rhyme with each other. Alright, at the same time, they have a meaningful existence also in those lines. It is not that just because they are rhyming, we have picked up some word and we have put it there. So see, it scares away the long dark night. When the sun comes, the long dark night tends to go away. So it is scared, it is fearsome of the sun, and the night goes away, and the shining stars also disappear. So they disappear means they go out of sight. Okay, then from tree to tree birds flit and dance. So birds, they fly, they dance from one tree to another, searching for food with a sharp glance. So when you have to search for food, you have to look carefully, so your glance will be sharp. So that is how we put the word dance and glance, two meaningful words which rhyme with each other. The buds that open now show their face, as flowers they dance with beauty and grace. So see, face rhymes with grace. Alright, the hill slope wears a grassy green gown. The curved sparkling river, its gold crown. So the hill is covered with green grass, so it looks like the hill has worn a grassy green gown, and the river also has got a golden crown. The cock then crows to give a loud call. Come on, wake up folks, one and all. I then wake up, good morning, to say, let's all look forward to a golden day. So can you see how we have picked up and selected words which match and which complete these particular lines, and also they are in a rhyme. So this is how I have done it. Now you can also think of some other words which you find are suitable here in these particular lines, and also you have to make them rhyme. Okay, but that is the main part of this exercise. So this was the exercise in the pre-learning activity or the warming up part. Now let us move on to the poem, but before we go to the poem, let's look at the writer or the person who has written this poem. So the author is Walter John de la Mare. He was an English poet, he was a short story writer, and he was a novelist. And he is remembered for his works for children. So he has written a lot of books, lot of stories, lot of poetry for children. Okay, so now come on, we will read the poem now. In this particular reading, we will be reading the poem properly, and we will be looking at the meaning of some difficult or new words. And then when we read the poem again, I will show you beautiful pictures which will match all the lines in this particular poem. So the name of the poem is Silver. Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. So now what is the meaning of the word shoon here? Shoon is the word that means shoes. So the night is moving slowly and silently. The moon is moving very slowly and silently, and she has also worn silver color shoes. That is why there is the silver kind of light all around during the night when the moon is out there. This way and that way, she peers and sees. Okay, so she peers. Peers means what? She looks. Now children, we have learned about a figure of speech called as personification. Now in this particular poem, there are no exercises based on figures of speech. But if you look at this particular line, this way and that way, she peers and she sees. Whom are we talking about? We are talking about the moon. Now the moon is not a person. She cannot look here and there, and she cannot look at you. She cannot peer at you. So this is an example of personification in this particular line. Okay. So peers here means looks. Silver fruits upon silver trees. So children, if there is a room and in that room you have bright red light or a bright red bulb shining in the room, you will notice that everything in that particular room looks red in color. So in the same way, on a full moon night, when the moon is full and out and it is shining, everything looks silver. So the fruits also look silver and the trees also look silver. So the lines, silver fruit upon silver trees. It doesn't mean that there are trees which are made up of silver with fruits which are silver fruits hanging, literally. Okay, it means figuratively. Then one by one the casements catch. So what is casements over here? Casement means a window. So when in the night the moon is passing slowly and silently over the earth, one by one she passes the windows of the houses. Okay, and the windows, what do? They catch. What do they catch? They catch her beams beneath the silvery thatch. So now what is a thatch? A thatch is a roof. It means that under every roof there is a window. That means every house, it has got a roof and it has got a window. So now the sun, the moon rays, or the silvery shine of the moon, it enters the homes through these windows or through these casements. Okay. Then you have couched in his kennel like a log with paws of silver sleeps the dog. So when I show you a pictorial, you can say lines, when these lines in picture, when I show you, you will understand more. So in the kennel, now the kennel is a kind of a home or a shelter which is built for dogs. So now when you're sleeping like a log, it means you're sleeping very peacefully. You're sleeping in such a way that you will not be disturbed by anyone. Okay, so the dog, like a log, he is sleeping in his kennel. Now his paws are of silver. His paws are of silver means the moonlight is shining on his paws also. From their shadowy coat, the white breasts peep. So coat is what? Coat means shelter for birds. So you must have seen in movies, you must have seen in magazines and newspapers also, we built a small house kind of structure for the birds with a hole in the center, isn't it? So from the shadowy coat, the white breasts, the white color front sides of the doves. Doves are a kind of white color bird. Of doves in silver feathered sleep. So now the feathers of these birds, they also seem to be silver in color. And they are all sleeping inside their coat. Okay. A harvest mouse goes scampering by. So what is the meaning of scampering? Scampering could mean rushing by or hurrying by. Okay. Now there are certain animals, children, which are nocturnal. What is the meaning of nocturnal animals? Nocturnal animals means animals which specially come out during the night. For example, sometimes in our houses, especially people who are living not in these buildings but in these row houses, sometimes during the rainy season, mouses and rats enter their home. Okay. Now these mice and these rats, they are not active during the day. But you will notice once you put off the lights and you go and sleep, they will start scampering around in your house. So a harvest mouse, a mouse which lives in the field, it is also now scampering around. And how does it look? It looks like its claws are silver and his eyes are also silver, with silver claws and silver eye. Okay, so that is how the mouse also looks like when you see it in the moonlight. So everything in the moonlight appears to be silver. The trees appear to be silver, the fruits appear to be silver, the paws of the dog appear to be silver, the breasts of the doves appear to be silver, the claws and eyes of the mouse appear to be silver, and lastly, let's see what else appears to be silver. And moveless fish in the water gleam. Moveless means fish which do not move, motionless. They are in a place, because the fishes also might be sleeping during the night, by silver reeds in a silver stream. So gleam here means shine. So these fishes are also shining in the water. And silver reeds, reeds means a kind of grass etc. which grows at the on the banks of the rivers and the streams. These reeds also are looking to be silver in color. They also seem to be silver in color. Okay, and the water in the stream is also silver in color. Alright, so that is why the name of this poem is Silver, because it is related to the night, it is related to the moonlight, and it talks about how in the moonlight everything around you feels as if it has put on a silver colored gown or a silver colored coat. Okay, now like I promised you, I am going to do this very interesting exercise where I will show you all these lines of the poem with beautiful pictures. So come on, let's start. See? Okay, what is this? The moon. And what is it doing? Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. So I have explained the poem to you. We will just be doing the reading here now. Alright? This way and that she peers and sees silver fruit upon silver trees. So see, silver trees and silver fruits. See here, you can see trees which look like they are silver and fruits also which look like they are fruits made up of silver. Then one by one the casement catch. Okay, what do they catch? Her beams beneath the silver thatch. Couched in his kennel like a log, with paws of silver, sleeps the dog. See, this is the kennel of a dog, and this is how the dog is sleeping in his kennel. But during the night time, see, he's sleeping like a log. Alright, here he's a little bit alert. Now, why are the paws of the dog being compared to silver? This is the reason why. Because the moonlight is falling upon his paws, and what is happening? With paws of silver sleeps the dog. So his paws also gleam as if they are silver in color. These are the doves. So let's read this line now. From their shadowy coat, the white breasts peep of doves in silver feathered sleep. Okay? Then see, I told you about the field mouse which is scampering around. So come on, the harvest mouse goes scampering by with silver claws and silver eye. Finally, and moveless fish in the water gleam by silver reeds in a silver stream. So you can see how the stream also seems to be silver in color. So this was the poem Silver by Walter de la Mare. Okay, in which we talked about the beauty of the night. Because the moon is out there shining bright, everything seems to have worn a silver colored coat. Everything seems to be dipped and covered in silver. Alright, so this was the lesson, children. This was the poem. Let us now go to some more exercises here in the lesson. I told you we will be doing an exercise about a rhyme scheme. So they have asked us to write the rhyme scheme of this particular poem. So let us see. Slowly, silently, now the moon. So we call it A. Okay. Walks the night in her silver shoon. So the sound of moon, which is A, matches with shoon. So we call this, the rhyme scheme of this line also as A. You will see here that every couple of lines, they are in a rhyme. So the first two lines rhyme with each other. Third and fourth line again rhyme with each other. The fifth and sixth line with each other, and so on. But we will have to also check whether the rhymes are matching anywhere, so that we can repeat the letters. Okay, we can give them the same name when we are doing the rhyme scheme. So this way and that she peers and sees. So sees is a new sound. It is not in you can say matching with moon or shoon. So we give it the letter B. Silver fruit upon silver trees. So sees matches with trees, so we call them B. One by one the casements catch. Okay, so that is C. Catch, ch, the ch sound. Her beams beneath the silver thatch. So this is again a new sound, so we have C and C over here. Couched in his kennel like a log. So the sound of the letter G, G, log. So it's a new sound, so new letter D. With paws of silver sleeps the dog. Again, from their shadowy coat, the white breasts peep. So the p sound here of doves in silver feathered sleep. Again the E sound. Okay, sound of the letter P. So a harvest mouse goes scampering by. So we give it a new letter F with silver claws and silver eye. So by rhymes with I. So here goes another F. And moveless fish in the water gleam. A new sound again in this particular poem. So we call it G. By silver reeds in a silver stream. So gleam goes with stream, so it is a G again. So you can see here the lines rhyme with the next line, but the rhyme doesn't repeat itself anywhere else in any other line in the poem. So we have a rhyme scheme which goes as AA, BB, CC, DD, EE, FF and GG. Okay, so this is the rhyme scheme of this particular poem. Moving on, they have asked us to underline the word silver or silvery in the poem. So wherever the word silver and silvery comes, we are going to underline them. Okay, so let us see the first line, slowly, silently. Now the moon, there is no silver, walks the night in her silver shoon. So there is a silver here. This way and that she peers and sees silver. There is one more here in this line. Silver fruit upon, yes, silver trees. So we found 3 silvers here in the 4 lines. One by one the casements catch her beams beneath the silvery thatch. So here we have silvery. Couched in his kennel like a log, with paws of silver sleeps the dog. So that they want to show us that in every 2 lines we have the word silver at least once. So that explains why the name of the poem is Silver. From their shadowy coat the white breasts peep, of doves in silver feathered sleep. A harvest mouse goes scampering by, with silver claws and silver eyes. And moveless fish in the water gleam, by silver reeds in a silver stream. So see how many times the word silver is used. Let's count it. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 times. So we have 12. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 lines in the poem where the word silver or the word silvery occurs 10 times. Alright. Then they've asked us to read 2 poems by Walter de la Mare. One is The Listeners and the other poem is Someone. So I have both the poems here on the screen for you. Okay. So I will leave it to you. You can pause the video and you can read the poems at your leisure. Whenever you have time, you can read the poem because they want us to read more poems by this particular poet. Okay, this one is a little long, so you try and read it and try to understand it. And this one looks better and it is a smaller poem. Okay, and both these poems, after you read them, see, even this one, after you read them, you will learn that there is something to do with nature in both the poems. Okay, so today children, we talked about lesson number 3.1 from your English textbook, and the name of the lesson is Silver. It is a nice, small, beautiful poem with beautiful ideas and beautiful visuals, you can say. So we tried to also look at all the lines. Okay, we tried to see images of all the lines, and we also did certain exercises in the warming up part and certain other exercises in the you can say English workshop part also. All right. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, And after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now, what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.